good? Coming at y'all with another episode of the Major Music Lounge podcast. It's your boy D Dodge. First time here. Like to talk to other music creators, so producers, artists, whether you're also content creators, to all my producers out there, sound designers, producers with publishing, like in the film and television space, and artists, same thing. Maybe you also might have worked with a major artist out there. I only say that to say we're looking to hear your story about your musical journey. So hit me up on all social platforms at d._major music. Actually, on X, I'm going to be d.mme, but everywhere else is going to be d.major music. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Threads, as well as Instagram. Today, we're actually going to be talking to Lord Sha'ul, who's actually a rock artist from Atlanta, and I connected with him actually through Catrice Roots, who was another podcaster that was on the show last year, and she referred him to me, and I went ahead, checked out, his Instagram, as well as he sent me some of his music, his latest release, in fact, Affirmations, and I got a chance as well to check out some of his music videos on YouTube. So we're just going to talk about some of those things as well as his musical journey. He's actually the first rock artist we had the pleasure of having here on the podcast. So, I'm definitely looking forward to this interview. Now let's go ahead and get into it. I'd like to welcome everybody to another edition of the Major Music Lounge podcast, joined by Lord Sha'ul. Actually, we got to talking, so he's in the A right now, but found out that, he's from Texas as well, or spent some time in Texas rather. Uh, what's good, my brother?
Man, it's going great, man. It's going great. I'm gonna jump in there and just say, yeah, Dallas Fort Worth is where I want to say I was raised, but that's where me and my family kind of fled to, and then I grew up there and stuff like
Okay,
that.
how long
So,
you been in Atlanta?
this is my first year, so
Okay, so you just went out there.
yeah, I'm what do you call fresh, brand new. So, so yeah,
Man, yeah, I actually one of my good friends, shout out to Boom, but he's a artist from Atlanta.
okay.
And yeah, I'd always wanted to go to Atlanta. I never got a chance to do it yet. But you may see me out there one day soon. So,
Got to
I'll
pull
let you
you
know
out
what's
here.
good.
Pull you out here. I heard some of your tracks, man. So I'm just like, oh yeah, no time. I'm like gonna be hitting them up and be like, get your tail down to the A. So,
Man, I'm definitely looking to come through, man. So what's good with you, man? I know we got a chance to connect online via Catrice. Shout out to Catrice. And I got a chance to check out some of your work. But how long have you been creating music?
oh gosh, man, creating music. I'll say since I was 11. Since I was
Okay,
11 years old, my mom bought me this keyboard, and it's like a little. She found it at a thrift store, and it's like, boom, you know, I'm gonna work with this. You know what I mean? And then when I found out I can record on that, like get my ideas off of there, and it would record, that was set right there. Done deal. Done deal.
who are some of your influences?
So honestly, we this is gonna trip everybody out, but uh, believe it or not, Phil Collins was my
Okay,
big influence.
yeah,
Uh, I learned some of his stuff, and like it just kind of just took off right there. I was like, man, this dude is so creative. Um, and then we can go. If he's not in y'all's back pocket, I don't know what's up. But Michael Jackson and his crew, Michael Jackson and his crew, his whole team. They're on a whole nother level. Still today. You know what I mean? Even though he's not here with us, uh, he's on a. They were on a whole nother level. And then Prince.
okay,
My father calls me Prince, just because probably because I walk around the house with a guitar and just playing and trying to play stuff like that. So, but yeah, those are three of my big influences right there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it sounds a very similar journey from the standpoint of like I remember also having a keyboard once upon a time and um
Go
I didn't know what
Casio.
I was doing. Yeah, I think it was a Casio's mid to late 90s. I don't know whatever happened to it to this day.
Right.
But I just remember this is kind of cool and I was right around the time West Coast hip hop was popping off and
Yeah,
a lot of people listen to the Pac, Dr. Dre, for example, and that's kind of where I got a lot of my influences. And then the other side, what you said, thinking about like Phil Collins and Michael Jackson and Prince. I grew up in a house where like my sister's like a Prince fanatic, so I would always
okay.
hear her blasting Prince, and it kind of grew on me as time went on as well. And then Phil Collins, I just remember like he used to be all over television, like in the late '80s and the '90s, and just
Yeah,
like even the Super Bowl, I think at one time performed there, and uh his sound or a lot of his music, of course, has been sampled by a lot of hip hop artists as well. So I mean,
right.
he has a very big influence. But I mean, like who doesn't I don't think I met many, if anybody, that don't like Phil Collins. So and then
And
of course Michael Jackson, man, legend in its own. Legend in its own.
man, yeah, it's he's all of them. I just say all of them, or especially on Phil Collins. Phil Collins is the one that just catches me because like, dude was literally be in the studio making a sound, not a sound hit, but the sound. You want to kick drum? I got something for that. You know what I mean? And he'll just pull it out of air and start making. I'm like, dang, how do you
Man.
do that? So, yeah,
Man, as far as like a lot of young music, I'm always like, well, first, like, are you like rock or what do you classify yourself? Alternative?
alternative. I would say rock, grunge, alternative. However you feel it and want to accept it is that's you. You know what I mean. But if they're gonna put me on the like stream when on the main screens, the platforms and stuff like that, it's alternative rock. You know,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
but I got heavy stuff, light stuff. It goes throughout the whole thing.
And kind of reason I ask, like, I'm always, no matter who, I'm always just intrigued, like, with how everybody's creating different. And like, do you create like what do you use to record like a lot of your beats and just your music generally speaking?
I am not going to pull this camera and twist it around, but I would
Hmm.
show you everything. It's like a um as far as DAW, you want to speak DAW? We
Yeah,
can
yeah.
we can speak DAW. So with DAW, I use Reasons.
Okay.
I use Logic. Every now and then, if I'm pushed, Slow Tools. That's what Pro Tools. I know a lot of people in the industry uses Pro Tools and stuff like that, but I'm just like, man, y'all gotta catch up, and stuff like that. Because I'm doing stuff left and right. But yeah, Reasons as far as DAW, and then Logic, and then if I have to, it would be Pro Tools.
Yeah, yeah. I use Logic at least like for a lot of the beats that I'm making as of late. I've been kind of going between Logic on the iPad as well as Logic on my Mac. And
Hmm.
then reason I got actually, so the funny thing was years ago when I'm talking like 2005, 2006-ish, when I first started making beats around that time, that's what I learned how to make beats on was Reason. And then eventually I moved on to Logic and then, everything else. But I noticed I think it's Reason 12 if I'm not mistaken, or
Reason
might be
12. Yeah.
13. Yeah. Yeah, I had to reach 11, so I gotta get up on that 12. Um, man. And do you record like a lot of your live instrumentation directly in the Reason and Logic?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So if I have to, I mean, and not just from my album, but that's like when I have clients and stuff like that too. It's gonna go straight into there unless I have to go to their studio or they push me to go, hey, come here and record. And then it's all right, we'll record with what you got and then give me all your files and I'll take it back to my studio and brush up on whatever. Because sometimes it's just good to be in the studio with the people that have that creative flow. If Am I saying that right? Creative flow. I call it studio vibe.
Yeah.
So we're in there cooking and everything like that. Like if you hired me to play drums, hey, I want to play a lick like this. What do you think? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's straight, what I mean? It's straight communication right there in the studio instead of let me call him. All right, play this, and or you got your phone in the air, listen to and stuff like that. So but yeah, I have everything in my Mac, and we just pretty much go from there on my
Okay, yeah.
laptop.
I mean, I totally feel that. Like, it's cool to create anytime, but also when you can get around other creative minds and just vibe off of each other, you
Right,
never know what you're gonna come up with.
right,
Somebody might suggest, hey, do something different,
right.
and that just changes the whole song like that.
Yeah, that for me, that's what you just said. Just to bank off of that, or throw a little bit more in there is, I love to learn. So you always meet people who might know something that you don't know. You know what I mean? So you get to take that penny, put it in your pocket. You get enough pennies, it adds up to $1. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I got a whole dollar right there. You know what I mean? And you get to invest that dollar back into your projects and stuff like that, or get things quicker, done quicker and stuff like that. So yeah, I got my brother. Shout out to my brother D Busy. He just won a Grammy, and I'm older than him. Matter of fact, I taught him a lot of the stuff. But when he comes to my studio, he shows me stuff, and he works out there with you, or out there in let me see, where you at? He's in Dallas, but
Yeah,
where you at?
yeah.
You're in Dallas?
I'm in Dallas.
Okay, you seem like a Dallas cat too, man. You just cool like that. But when he comes to my studio, he shows me, hey, this is what I got, or you can do it this way, you can do it that way, and it's like cool. So for the next time I record something, boom, it's I can get things done a little quicker. So I'm banking off of what you just said.
Oh yeah, man. And like so you produce, you engineer, and you're artist.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oh
sir.
man, yeah, I totally feel that life, man. That's me in
And
a
right.
nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it like? Because I could tell you sometimes it's kind of like I may tune into one side heavy. Yeah, I may
Mhm.
tune into just being an artist for like 3, 6 months at a time. And I'm not saying I let everything else kind of fall by the wayside, but that's just simply my priority because I'm working on an album or whatever.
Right.
And then same thing where I get in this mode where I'm just making a lot of beats, but like it might be my priority if I'm working on an EP for someone else, or maybe I just need to, get beats up on the website or whatever that looks like, or the last thing is managing my time and trying to mix down everything that I create. Because
Mm.
sometimes, I might make a good amount of beats and I forget some of the beats that I made. I come back later down the line, eventually I'll find them, but just little things like that. How do you manage time in between the three?
I think when we spoke very first time, I got children. I have children, and hopefully you don't hear them right now and stuff like that. But that comes into play
Oh yeah.
trying to manage everything. I did an interview a while back ago, and I was telling the guy, I was like, you just got to know your role and know where you fit in, and know how to play everything out. A quarterback is only a quarterback when he's on the field doing his position. But when it's not for him to be on the field, he's being, team supporter. He's doing whatever, studying the plays and all this other kind of stuff. So me, I'm only, how could I say this? I'm only a producer when it's time for me to be a producer. And then when it's time to shut that off and switch roles to, you said mixing. So we can go to mixing, we can go to, hey, at this time allotted for me, I'm going to be dad, like just walk around the house with my chest all out, hey, get this is done, blah blah blah. I do all that. um but yeah, you only set time to do whatever it's time to do. If Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When it's time for me
You
to,
know it,
what'd you say?
You know when it's time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You would know. Like, but sometimes us as producers, you and I, we can get caught up in our situation, and it's like, dang, I spent too much time on this. Let me it's a hard stop to do, but you got to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might hear your wife be like, I haven't seen you in like hours. Yeah, I was working on this good song, blah blah blah. But sometimes we just got to know how to cut it off and everything like that. And it's hard, especially when you in it good. But sometimes it pays off too.
So sometimes it
So
pays off.
yeah,
Like it might save you. I know sometimes like and I used to work with certain cats like this, but um and you may work with someone who's a perfectionist
yeah,
and they'll try to, whether it's recording this part of the verse or, mixing down a certain part of the song or whatever that looks like, and they feel it's not right, eventually, you're gonna, I'm not necessarily saying settle, but like the song has to be a finished product at some point.
right.
So,
At
that
some
might pull
point,
you away.
right?
That might pull you away. And, you have a little bit of time to let the song kind of sit and go back and listen to it. And, you might feel different about it at that point in time.
Right.
But, yeah, sometimes you might have to step away.
You gotta step. I mean, and it's good to step away. I mean, like I said, we're producers and stuff like that, music producers or whatever. But this is for me, or me just coming out straight off what I practice is it's always good to take a break and reset your ears, because you might be listening to garbage, but you listen to garbage so much that, oh, you know what I mean, I love it,
That's
or
all I'm
vice
saying.
versa, you know what I mean, you hate it so much, but when you come back with fresh ears and it's like, oh no, this, we're going to keep that track, we're not going to delete it, we're not going to blah blah blah, it's good, so yeah, a hard stop sometimes is just good. Sometimes I will go like a week or two. And I tell the people up under me, it's good to go a week or two with just not listening to anything. It's hard to do, but when you step back on the scene, step back in the studio, like, man, this is rich. You know what I mean? This is, yeah, the money is right there. That's why they want us, and go from there. But
Yeah.
that's just me. I'm not telling everybody to say follow me. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
saying
I
that's
mean,
just how
that's
I
for real
do
though. It was like November, December of last year. I was just, yeah, I had a lot going on behind the scenes. So
it.
I took those 2 months and I just completely stepped away from music. And
Wow.
I started creating again in January.
Okay.
And it felt like something different.
Right.
And I'm kind of glad I took some time away and just came back with a different, mindset and just some different energy to create. Cause
Yeah.
yeah, when I really think about it, is pretty much for the last probably 4 years or so. I was constantly like making videos. I was trying to upload things at
Yeah.
least, 7 days out of the week, every day.
God, please.
And I felt like I was just pushing myself that hard along with just life aside from music. and it just became too much after a while.
Workhorse.
So yeah, man.
Workhorse.
So I got a chance to listen to, the Affirmations project. Like what I heard as well.
Mhm.
Um, I also listened to or watched your music video for the effect and original royalty. Let's kind of get into some of that. And I
Okay.
had that was a song I was listening to. In fact, the effect is that's probably the joint I like the most off of your project. I
Okay.
really dig that a lot. That
My
came
son's
out
favorite.
this year or late last year?
So what'd you say? I didn't hear that last part.
Did it come out this year? Did Affirmations come out in
Yeah.
2024? Okay.
Imagine Affirmations came out in December, um, 2023. So that's darn near last month. You know what I mean? And that came out, and to be honest with you, it's been sitting on the shelf for a good minute for the fact of when I got here to Georgia, something happened to where like I had a stroke, and uh, I ended up having to be in the hospital for a few days. I'll just put it like that. With that being said, you probably talked to Patrice about it or whatever, but we found out that I have MS, um, and not just MS. They said it's advanced MS because it's so aggressive. It was so aggressive. It's so aggressive. I'll just put it like that. So kind of stepping back a little bit, catching on to what you said, I had to literally cut everything off, music, everything, and put all that stuff on the shelf and be like, I'll get to it whenever I get to it, whenever I get myself together, you know. And it just started coming around to the fact that, hey, I can move a little bit better. I can use my hands and all this other kind of stuff. My wife said, you invested so much money into this, it's a waste of money if it's just going to sit on the shelf. And I was like, dang, you know what? Yeah, let's get it released. Let's finish the music videos. Let's do everything that we need to do and invest, and just push it and see, if we can at least not have it sitting on the shelf anymore. So I got myself together, and we finally released it. Now I'm thinking about the next album, and
Yeah.
going from there. But yeah, I had to sit myself down a little bit, for Affirmations, and it finally came out. But those songs were written uh, when we did the listening party. People started pulling out, "Hey, I remember when you did that in 2011. When you wrote that in 2011." It's like, yeah. Oh, that's the old nines. Yeah, some of these songs are really old. It's just they've been what do you call it? Refreshed.
Remastered.
Yeah, bring bringing it back to today's kind of mixes and stuff like that. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah, well, first and foremost, man, sending blessings out to you, wishing the
right.
best for you, man. I know, like, I went through that was part of the reason, like, those 2 months I didn't create was kind of going through something myself.
Got you.
Had two surgeries in 2023, and
Ooh,
yeah, that was a lot for me personally. So, I could definitely relate and, sending blessings to you, brother,
man,
you
I
know.
respect that, man. I
Yeah,
respect
man. And the thing also about like music, generally speaking, I'm glad you got a chance to get it out because like um I don't know what it is, like going through things sometimes when I start creating, just kind of like I guess it's a good way of self-expression, and
it.
I don't know, music just kind of seems to be one of the things that's constant in life. And it's like I don't know, I always feel better when I get a chance to create for some reason.
Yeah. Oh
And
man,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like I'm definitely glad you got a chance to get that album out.
You feel free, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
feel free. Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel now. Like even just being able to get stuff off my chest, like even the stuff when I was in the hospital, just everything that was going through my mind. I'm like, write it down, write it down. You're gonna come to this, and we're gonna get it out through music. But yeah, man, I respect that, man. I definitely know. Uh, as far as the surgery thing, I had surgery in 20. Oh gosh, forgive me, 2020. No, 2021. I had some oral surgery, but what was supposed to take a week for me to get better, it ended up taking 2 months for everything to heal. And yeah, that was I had some cuss words in there, you know.
Yeah,
So
like anybody, like I just had a new respect for like anybody that goes through surgery or anything, man. Because like last year, that took up, I would probably say most of the year, other than January or February. I
ooh,
had surgery at the beginning of February, and
cold.
I just kind of got right. I mean, and well, I had surgery February. I had another surgery in September, and I kind of got right in November, but still months away from a full recovery. So,
Right, right, right.
still doing the best that I can now. And yeah, it's man, just that whole process. I don't wish that on anybody.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. Don't please don't wish that. But that's horrible. That's real horrible. Yeah.
Man. And then what you said also about you went back and recorded songs from 2012 and later, kind of leading to now. I saw something online the other day that kind of made me think, and it said like what's old to you might be new to other people.
Wow. Yep. Yep.
And there are times where I might record a song as well, and maybe I'm not feeling it for that particular album or project that I'm working on, but I
Right.
still might save it for another time. And
Right.
it kind of also makes me think about like just the beats in general, like if there's something maybe that I don't like, I might put it up on my website, and it may be an artist that goes on my website and listens to that beat, and they end up liking it, and they end up wanting to work on it, or something like that. But yeah, you always got to put out your work so you get new ears on it, and you never know who can become a fan, or what other opportunities might come from it.
I'm going to tag team on that because what you're saying is spot on. Uh, October, so I guess you say a couple months before the album got released. My brother, who, like I said, D Vizzy, who came through for me, he was like, he actually helped me get some placements on NBC, and that was just like out of nowhere. He was like, "Well, I know you got tracks laying around. I know you did tracks for this person, this so and so, and it's tracks that uh you would like when I write tracks or whatever. I'll write a whole I'll write it. What do you call it? A sample. I'm trying to make it because I got other words, but not everybody's gonna understand what I was saying. But I'll do like a sample. Hey, here's a hook, here's a chorus, and maybe a verse. And then I'll just send it out. But I got numerous tracks, and he was like, he came over and he was like, look, or he called me and said, NBC is looking for blah blah blah. They want this, and I know you're the perfect one for this because I don't I write music. What do you call it? Not symphony, but like stuff that you would hear on the in the on the
Film and
movies.
TV.
Yeah, cinematic. I
Yeah.
guess that's what you want to call it. Cinematic stuff or whatever. So it's just like, man, I got boom tracks off of tracks. And he was like, but yeah, we want your country stuff. They're gonna want your country stuff. And I was like, okay, because I'm a country artist as well, So, but I sent them all the stuff that I wrote like years ago or whatever. And he was like, cool, send that, send that, send that, send that. He's like, bro, they're gonna take all your all your music. And then after that, I come to find out he sent me the link of what they're doing on NBC, and he was like, it's already posted. He's like, yeah, the money's going to be, I ain't going to talk about the money, but it's around the corner, and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And what was it for? I want to say the second episode of for that show that I wrote for. It's already up for an Emmy. I'm like,
Wow.
how did they work that quick? You know what I mean? How did they even know? So what you're banking off of what you said is like, yeah, what's old to me is going to be new to other ears and stuff like that. So and that's the whole thing of like, all right, I gotta keep going. I gotta
I
keep
gotta
going.
keep going.
Gotta
I
keep
keep
moving.
going, man. And you also had some music videos too. I, let's see, I watched them. Right, The Effect and Original Royalty. I got the chance to watch both of those. Um, do you and talking to you earlier, do you do a lot of the shooting yourself, or you have like a crew that you shoot with?
So the effect is I shot that all myself, like literally right before I had the little stroke thing and went to the hospital. I'll probably say a month before that, I went to the hospital. And then as far as the I don't know which other video you said original royalty is the label that I was on.
Oh,
Um, but I gave them two music videos. And I had a part crew, I guess you could say. I had like a cameraman and I would do all the editing and stuff like that. But I had for a production company I used to work with, I had their ears and their eyes and telling me, okay, we can use this, we can put this there, and all that good stuff. So I guess you could say I had a team of people for the stuff that I did for original royalty, and for the effect is that's pretty much all me in my house in my garage. you know,
man,
yeah,
that's dope though. Like, I shoot some of my videos myself, and then like I also have one guy I shoot with here in Dallas. But
okay,
like, there was one time, and I live in an apartment, and I have a lab, I have a studio that I'm actually recording in my apartment. But
okay,
um, I remember during COVID, I actually shot a video here, and I used some lighting, some different colored lighting on top
right,
of. I have a green screen as well
right,
that I use, and it was really just like an iPhone 13 Pro, a
right,
Canon T2i,
yep,
and I just took both angles, and I sent it off to a guy who does a lot of editing, and it came out pretty good. Came out really good, and a lot of people to this day, they might watch the video and not know that I shot it here in this apartment.
in an apartment, right.
And sometimes I like the fact that when you got creative control, you could just experiment and do a lot of things. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to keep it, but I
Right.
just also like the ability to be able to just shoot the way that I want to shoot.
Yeah, be in control.
Yeah. And
What's in
then
your mind, get it out.
I mean, shooting with other people too. I mean, just having an eye sometimes that, might be a little bit different than yourself. It's almost like music and mixing, for example. Somebody else might hear something that you might not hear, but
Right.
yeah, yeah. And I also like wanted to ask, like, how has music videos helped, I guess, bring a visual to, some of the singles that you've dropped?
So, all right, for the effect is I was reading some of the comments and stuff like that, and people were letting me know like, hey, this brought them back to somebody said Nirvana, which
Yeah.
is one of I love Nirvana, you know what I mean? So that's like a big old big what do you call a big warming hug and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna embrace that. Thank you. But one of them said this helps them go to work. That song helped them go to work. They listen to it and they blast it and like cool. You know what I mean? Now, and as far as if they're watching the video, I wouldn't recommend driving and watching the video for that. But um, I got a we're working on a music video for it's like the last song of the album. Um, and some of my brothers and family, not family, but people who has come over and hung out with me in the studio, I played just a little snippet of it, and they said it really made them think. They made them think. The song made them think, and they kind of got emotional about it. And I'm not gonna say exactly what they said, but basically it hit home, and that thought that was in my head, it really started coming out,
Yeah, yeah,
with how they were thinking it and seeing it. And hey, I'm gonna go call my mom and check on my mom. You know what I mean? I'm gonna
yeah.
check on my dad. I haven't talked to
Made him
him in,
think.
in forever. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think the video that I saw, you were you were kind of singing, and then for a brief moment, you started kind of like spitting some bars, and then you started
Oh,
singing again.
oh, okay, okay,
I'm gonna have to go
okay.
back and check, but
Was I in a like at a wild wilderness kind of
yeah, yeah.
walking? That was matter of fact, you might know that part. That was in Cedar Hill. I
You
shot that
know,
in Cedar Hill.
it kind of does look a little bit, yeah, like Texas.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta represent, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. But yeah, matter of fact, I shot both of those. The other two videos that was on the original royalty, I shot those in Dallas, Texas. So, because Cedar Hill is still Dallas, you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
ain't
I
nothing but what is that, west or east of DeSoto
think
or something like that?
Southwest.
Duncanville, in that
Yeah,
whole area, but yeah, Dallas Metro, so we were at that national park, and we just, hey, let's get cameras and let's go.
Dallas got like you got so many different spots, like you want a scene like you had in the video, if you want something,
Right.
over the city skyline, if you want, something in
Yep.
between, like
Yep.
you got so many
Yep.
different spots in Dallas. That's one
Yes,
of the things I
sir.
like, man.
That's what I love about them.
What kind of shout outs do you have?
So the shout outs, first of all, I want to shout out, I want to give a major thank you, you know what I mean, to my brother. He's second under me. I'm the oldest and he's number two, but he's the one that just stepped up and like pushed me. And I don't mean like keep going, like he pushed me to hey, get off your tail and you got this. You're gonna do this. And he's like, hey, I'm gonna walk with you on that. So special shout out or thank you to him. And then to my wife, which I hear her pulling up now. um I want to give a big shout out to her because she was holding my hand through the whole situation of me being in the hospital, me doing the music. We had to cry together sometimes, you know what I mean, just because of when you have MS, that's a forever thing. It don't go away. It we Diabetes went away. My diabetes went away, you know what I mean, but the MS, that you got to live with that, so but she literally held my hand and we had it, so big shout out to her. Big
Yeah,
shout out to
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Again, blessings, man. And what do you have coming for the remainder? Like, I know we just in January, but and it's a long road, but like any plans for like 2024?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do want to get better so I can start traveling and visiting, other people that I've worked with and stuff like that. But I do have another album that I am working on. Literally, if I have the name of the album, I have the titles, I have pretty much everything set in stone. Even that refurbished music that I was talking about, I still have some more. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm not gonna say it's a 2024 thing. It might be 2025, but it is in the works. Literally, it's in the works.
Okay. Okay. And
Yes, sir.
where can our viewers, our listeners, find you at, find your music at online?
So I'm pretty much on all the major platforms, from your Apple Music to Spotify to Amazon Music, even some other stuff I ain't never heard of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you rocking it, then I'm there. I think they said Napster is still around too, and I'm like, really, man, that's like high school, elementary, middle school kind of thing. But yeah, y'all can find the music, just about on all the major platforms. So
And then Instagram, Spotify, I mean Instagram, Twitter, uh shoot, Threads.
yeah, so I'm on Instagram and I'm on what is that new one called? TikTok. I'm on those two. I have a Spotify account, but I'm so old school. I don't know how to use the Twitter thing. So
See, that's like
uh I just have the name reserved for me, but it's like I don't what am I doing right here? You know?
that's how I am with I mean I've caught on to TikTok, but like I think I've been on TikTok for maybe a little over a year, and at first it was just kind of weird to me because like
Right.
and at first I thought it was just about people getting on there to start dancing stuff.
Dancing.
Yeah.
Watch his dance.
And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, And then I looked around, I saw, other producers, other creators on there. I was like, okay, okay, I think I can use this, but I'm
We
just
could rock
catching
with
on
it.
to TikTok.
Yeah, yeah. Facebook, I'm on Facebook as well. That's more of a just keep it with the family, but I am on there. So, if people want to reach out, shout out, and everything like that, it's like cool. Let's rock. It's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Man, well, it was definitely a pleasure to have you on the show and get a chance to connect with you and you know, uh anytime you have any projects or anything, feel free to reach out, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate being on here, man. I really appreciate being on here. I appreciate you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. You can follow me on Instagram at d._major music. Same thing on TikTok and Threads, as well as Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
d.mme. And then always looking to interview other music creators, producers, artists, similarly to the conversation we had here tonight. If you're interested, hit me up on one of those platforms and we'll look to get you on the podcast. Catch all episodes, not only here on YouTube, but all podcast platforms. And D. Dot and Lord Saul signing off, and we're out.